What's poppin', people? It's Dante, currently going for my morning walk here along the Schuylkill River. Yeah, just practicing some photography early in the morning. Can I get a motion blur shot of the biker? Ooh, that's kind of crazy. Whoa, that's weird. Okay, so yeah, you know, I just like click and pan and P mode, baby, just point and shoot, man. Rico GR3, Rico Mafia. If you're listening, I need snap focus at macro level. I want to be able to go up to people's skin and photograph without having to rely on single point autofocus. Imagine being able to get super close candidly. Oh my god, that'd be crazy. I guess 1 meter is close, but imagine being able to like go right up. Okay, so anyways, the will to power. I've got the 40-pound weight vest. This is pretty amazing. So I've been wearing it for close to a week now, I guess. And at first, you know, I was wearing it, whew, that shit was heavy, you know. I got the 40-pound plates on, whatever. I was walking with it. And you know, on the way back, you know, I came home, I took it off. When I took it off, I was like, damn, you know. And then I went out for a walk without it on, and I was like, whoa, I feel like 10 times lighter. You know, it's like I'm 40 pounds lighter right now. That's nice. You know, I felt like I was floating through the streets. And I also realized that my posture was just so much straighter, like even more straight than it already is. Like if I felt like locked into like the most proper posture ever. So maybe this is the ultimate exercise, because when I consider the human being bipedal walking and having our posture, our spine upright is maybe the most critical thing for our physiology and our health. And yeah, so considering the way that we live now, sitting down most of the days for, yeah, I'd say most people, maybe this is a good idea for anyone that you know, works in an office or sits down for a living. Maybe it's better for us to focus on posture instead of all the other weightlifting techniques. Honestly, this seems pretty practical. Anyways, there's something about strength, right? Like each and every day, I'm becoming stronger. Each and every day, I'm becoming 1% more curious, right? Each and every day, I'm improving my photography. You know, every single day is anew, and every single day can potentially be the greatest day of your life. And I don't mean this in a sense where, oh, everything's sunshine and rainbows, you know, wake up in the morning and I'm just so happy. It's like, no, it's like I'm waking up in the morning and I'm looking out and I'm like, wow, like the sun's not even up yet. I'm up before the sun, like, let's go. Like, I'm just pumped up. Like, I don't know, it's this will to power. Like, I just finished reading the book by Friedrich Nietzsche, The Will to Power, and I think what I've gotten from it is essentially the goal of the human is to strive for power, right? The goal isn't happiness, but to self-overcome, right? To go beyond yourself, sort of to conquer yourself, you know. And I believe this can be applicable to the pursuit of physical strength, like walking long distances, lifting weights, and also creatively, right? Where creative pursuits like photography, even making this video, whatever it is that I'm doing, you know, writing, all sorts of creative things that you can do, you know, these things I believe also tie into this sort of notion of the will to power through the, you know, the power needed to exert creativity. Yeah, maybe it's overlooked, where, you know, even considering physical strength and physiology, right? Where you think of a photographer simply being able to put together, you know, a composition and, oh, you put a frame within a frame. Wow, you're good at layering. You know, it's, to me, it's funny. It's like these things are so superfluous and mean nothing. You know, anyone can learn the visual game of putting a composition together. But I actually believe in this notion of power, where your physical power, your physiological power is ultimately the drive that gets you to make that picture. And so how can we increase this power? What can we do to focus on the increase of power each and every day? Is this, to me, seems to be the goal. Everything else is merely a byproduct of power. The photographs you make are a byproduct of power. And so the simplest thing I can think of is we are currently standing on a big rock, floating into the void, orbiting around a big ball of fire. And fire, that big ball of fire, that's our primary source of power. That's the thing that's giving life to this earth. That's why we have these beautiful flowers. That's why we're here, right? One-fourth of a second. I'm at 1/4 of a second. Oh, I'm in AV mode, that's why. I'm like, what the hell am I doing? P mode, 1/50th of a second. That's much more. But what's amazing is you really can, with the Ricoh, shoot at around that 1/4 of a second. And because of the, I think there's like built-in image stabilization or something, it actually winds up being fine. But yeah, I like photographing flowers. They're so beautiful. You know, when I consider photography and making a photograph, you know, I'm just scratching that itch. I'm just curious about what the result will be like. You know, I'm just curious about what reality will manifest to be in the photograph itself, right? Where when I photograph something, I'm not looking at it, you know, as a potential, you know, like I'm not like looking at it like, oh, that's a photograph. Like I'm looking at life. And when I press the shutter, I'm curious about what it will look like in a photograph. Like when I photograph this thing in real life, it's like I create my own world, a new world, an abstraction of reality. And it's just a much more interesting approach because that is how I remain curious like a child, you know, just tinkering and playing and creating and breaking and recreating again and again. Like there's this like cycle, like a flower, you know, where a flower is planted, it grows, it dies, and it regrows again, right? And it's like there's something about the creative process where, you know, it's sort of similar to that plant, that flower growing and dying and being reborn again. You know, where I'm letting myself play more now with my new process. I'm allowing myself to break free from all conventional dogmas, traditional ways of doing things. And I think this is important to go forward with this sort of childlike curiosity as an artist or a photographer. And, you know, there's something about this approach now where a flower, something so seemingly banal, to me becomes this beautiful tapestry, something worthwhile uplifting in a photograph. And, you know, no matter how many times I can walk this same mundane lane, I know that I can always find something to uplift in a photograph. And that to me is an extremely powerful feeling. And when I consider power, right, like where you can drop me anywhere and I can find photos to make, you know, I can find ways to make something out of nothing. But when I consider power and this big ball of fire that's keeping us alive, you know, maybe similar to an iPhone, right? An iPhone being at 1% battery. Oh no, what are you gonna do? You're gonna plug it into the wall, you're gonna charge your iPhone up, and then in a few hours it'll be fully charged, or however long it takes, right? And you know, I think similarly to the iPhone being charged in the wall, you know, I think that is essentially like our sun, right? Where the sun is the charger, right? The sun is the wall and our bodies are the batteries, and we have to plug our body into the sun. But you must be outside under the sun in order to feel the true physiological power and energy that it will fuel you with. And so maximum amount of time in the sunlight is critical to feel this sensation of power, of energy. And I think that is something, yeah, I don't know, maybe we lack in modernity. You know, when you consider 8 hours in a day spent inside for the most city dwellers, 75% of the people are spending 75% of their day inside, I would say. Yeah, what does that mean? It means, I mean, for me, if I'm sitting inside, if I'm working under air conditioning, if I'm sitting down, I can feel my body break down. I can feel my power dwindle out. To me, it's amazing. Like, if I even sit in a car for 15 minutes, I can feel my body start to shut down. I begin to yawn. You know, there's never been a time in my life where I sat in a car and I didn't yawn. And I'll tell you why. It's because that's the only time I ever sit down. You know, I think that we should design our lives in a way where the only time you sit down is at the end of your day, when you go to eat and when you go to sleep. You know, we shouldn't be sitting down. There really is something about movement, standing, sunlight, increase of power in the most basic and primal sense. You know, where we are bipedal, we stand upright. There is a sun above our head. Let's embrace it. And then with that physiological power, you can then go out there and make works of art and create anew. You know, and think and dance and play and sing and champion every moment in this beautiful world, where perhaps that is where real happiness comes from. It's from that will to power. You know, where when I wake up in the morning, you know, I remind myself that life is outside of the door. You know, life is outside, and it's like, any time spent inside, your soul is just slowly dying. It's like, if you live your life on standby, I mean, time's inevitably going to just pass you by. But when you're moving your body along, the day feels long. You know, there's these new neural pathways that are firing in your brain. Novelty, chaos, entropy, randomness, memory. You know, these things fuel through me after a long day of movement and experiencing life to its fullest through all the multifaceted complexities, right? Whether I'm making photographs, you know, or just going for a walk, whatever it is, it's like, yeah, this is quite a beautiful world. And then once you recognize this sort of will to power being the ultimate aim, and you're simply embracing this chaotic sort of mode of production, movement, I think then you fear not, right? Where you go forward with courage. And you know, if you never meet your goals, if you never make it to the top of your mountain, you know, it's like, who cares, right? Because you're at least overcoming yourself each and every day. You're at least striving to become stronger every day and more curious every day. And when you feel that you are, then you feel unstoppable. And you know, if some crazy, unpredictable, spontaneous force comes out of nowhere and puts you into a deep sleep for the rest of your life, and you are now proclaimed as dead, well, you know that you lived every day like it was your last, and then you fear not of it. Oh man, I need to find a high vantage point. I need to see beyond the horizon. I need to see that big tower over there and dream about what it would be like if every single computer in both of the Comcast towers were mining Bitcoin. Excuse me, Mr. Comcast, if you're listening to this, we must utilize those computers and your technology to mine Bitcoin. Let's get some miners in there. Let's get your men and women doing it ASAP. We can make this city like Dubai. We can make the next Dubai here in Philadelphia. We can have the most advanced. We'll have robo-taxis before Dubai. Let's make robo-taxis before Dubai. Come on, it's up to Comcast. They're the ones with all the computers and shit. All right, here we are. At my favorite place to start the day? Yeah, consider life like it's freaking cyberpunk. Let's just be honest. We're living in a cyberpunk dystopia, cyberpunk lifestyle. Cyberpunk is the future. So maybe we should start living like it now. Yeah, just pretend like you're in cyberpunk. If I was in cyberpunk, I'd be a sniper. But I would only ever quick scope. I would only ever do quick scopes, trick shots, and I would be extremely close to the front lines. I wouldn't be sitting back on a hillside like this. Like, I'd be doing 360s off of this. I'd be doing like a 1080 wrist twist, freaking chingy flip, no clip, baby. I'd be freaking smacking bill cams off of this shit. People be watching the game-winning kill cam like, what the fuck, mom, get the camera, mom.